Hey everyone, it's Tony here from Retirees Benefits, and if you're wondering whether your Social Security check is coming on November 12th, or if President Trump's $2,000 stimulus payment is really happening this year, you need to stay with me, because I've got the latest details that could put real money in your pocket. And look, I know there's been a lot of back and forth about stimulus checks. I've spent hours going through the official Social Security Administration payment schedules, and reading everything about these stimulus proposals, so you don't have to. I'm breaking it all down in plain English, because this information is way too important to get wrong. So, let's dive in and stick around until the end, because I'm going to tell you exactly when you can expect this money, and what you need to do to make sure you don't miss out. Okay, first things first. Let's talk about that November 12th payment date, which is just 2 days away. Here's how the Social Security payment schedule works, and you may already be familiar with this. Payments are based on your birth date. If you were born between the 1st and the 10th of any month, your benefits come on the second Wednesday of each month. That's this Wednesday, November 12th. So, if your birthday is March 5th or August 9th or any date from the 1st through the 10th, your Social Security or SSDI payment is hitting your account on November 12th. Now, if you're born between the 11th and the 20th, your payment comes next week on November 19th, which is the third Wednesday. And if you're born between the 21st and the 31st, you're getting paid on the fourth Wednesday. That's November 26th, the day before Thanksgiving this year. But there are some important exceptions here. If you currently receive SSI, that's Supplemental Security Income, you actually got your November payment already. It came on October 31st, because November 1st fell on a weekend. And here's something that confuses people. There will be no SSI payment in November because you already received it in October. Also, some people got paid on November 3rd. That's if you live outside the United States. If you receive both SSI and Social Security retirement, if your state pays your Medicare premium, or if you filed for Social Security before May 1997. So, what amount are you actually getting on November 12th? For 2024, the maximum Social Security benefit at full retirement age is $3,822. If you're retiring at age 70, maximum is $4,873. And if you took benefits early at 62, the maximum is $2,710. But remember, these are maximums. Most people aren't getting these amounts. The average Social Security benefit as of this year is about $1,925 per month. That's what most retirees are actually seeing in their accounts. Now, I want to be clear about something important. Your November payment does not include the cost of living adjustment increase. That COLA increase of 2.5%, which works out to about $48 for the average beneficiary, doesn't start until January 2025. So whatever amount you got in October is what you're getting in November. If your check doesn't arrive after 3 business days, call the Social Security Administration right away. It could be an overpayment situation or a benefits issue that needs to be resolved quickly. Now let's talk about what everyone really wants to know. President Trump's announcement about sending $2,000 stimulus checks to Americans before the end of 2025. This is real, and it's based on the president's statements about tariff revenue. According to recent reports from Time magazine and other sources, President Trump has stated that the U.S. is bringing in billions and trillions of dollars from tariffs, and he wants to give that money back to Americans as a dividend. Here's what the president said through his social media. A dividend of $2,000 per person, not including high-income people, will be paid to everyone. He's claiming this money will come from the massive tariff revenue the country is collecting. Now, the president hasn't specified exactly who qualifies as high income, so that detail is still being worked out, but the intention is clear. Most Americans, including seniors on Social Security and disability benefits, would receive this payment. Here's what you need to understand. This isn't the first time President Trump has proposed this kind of payment. There's actually a history here. It started back in July with a $600 dividend proposal. The president suggested giving Americans $600 per person as a tariff rebate, similar to the pandemic stimulus checks. Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri even drafted legislation to make it happen. specifically including seniors on Social Security and disability benefits. Then in August, the amount increased. The president floated the idea of $1,000 or $2,000 payments. And now, most recently, he's confirmed the $2,000 amount and says he wants it done before the end of 2025. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said in an ABC interview this week that he hasn't yet spoken with the president about the specific details of this latest promise. But the proposal is out there, and it's real. So the big question everyone's asking is this really going to happen? And when? Here's the reality. For this to become actual money in your bank account, legislation needs to pass through both the House and the Senate, and then the president has to sign it. Now, I'm not going to get political here, but I will state what we've all observed. When President Trump makes something a priority with this Republican-controlled Congress, he tends to get what he wants. That's just been the pattern we've seen. If the president makes this $2,000 payment his number one priority and pushes Congress to pass it before the end of the year, there's a real possibility it could happen. The question is whether he'll make it that kind of priority. Based on everything we know so far, here's who would qualify. Seniors receiving Social Security retirement benefits. People on Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, SSI, recipients, veterans, families with lower and middle incomes, most working Americans. The president specifically said, not including high-income people, but we don't yet know where that income off will be. In previous stimulus rounds, payments typically phased out starting around $75,000 for individuals and $150,000 for married couples. The key point is that this would function like the pandemic stimulus checks, a direct payment based on income thresholds with most Americans qualifying. If this payment does go through before the end of 2025, here's what it could mean. For someone on Social Security, getting the average benefit of $1,925 per month, a $2,000 payment is more than a full month's worth of income. That's huge for covering holiday expenses, paying down debt, or building an emergency fund. For couples both receiving Social Security, that could be $4,000 coming your way. For veterans on disability, this would stack on top of your VA benefits. And remember, this wouldn't reduce or affect your regular monthly Social Security payments. It's a one-time dividend on top of what you're already receiving. Let me be straight with you about timing. The president said before the end of 2025, which means we're looking at the next 6 to 7 weeks. That's a very tight timeline for Congress to draft legislation, hold hearings, pass it in both chambers, and get it signed. It's possible. We saw it happen with pandemic relief, but it requires urgency and cooperation. If it doesn't happen by the end of December, there's still a possibility it could happen in early 2026, especially if the legislation is introduced now but takes a few extra weeks to pass. My advice: don't spend this money in your head yet. Don't make financial commitments based on a payment that isn't in your account. But stay informed and be ready, because if it does happen, you want to know what to expect. Here's your action plan. First, make sure your information is current with the Social Security Administration. If they sent up pandemic stimulus checks to the wrong address or bank account, you know how long it took to fix. Go to ssa.gov and verify your direct deposit information is correct. Second, if you haven't filed taxes recently and you're required to, make sure you do. Previous stimulus payments were based on tax returns. And if you're eligible to file but haven't, you might miss out. Third, watch out for scams. As soon as there's talk about stimulus money, scammers start calling, pretending to be from Social Security or the Treasury Department. No legitimate government agency will ever call asking for your Social Security number or bank information to process your stimulus check. If you get that call, hang up. Fourth, follow reliable sources for updates. I'll be covering any developments right here on this channel, so make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. This situation is evolving, and you want accurate information, not rumors. While we're waiting to see what happens with the stimulus, here's some confirmed good news. Starting in January, your Social Security benefits are increasing by 2.5% due to the cost of living adjustment. That COLA letter showing your new benefit amount should arrive in your mailbox in December. Keep that letter. You need it for your records. For the average beneficiary, getting $1,925, that's an extra $48 per month, or $576 for the year. It's not huge, but it helps. Also, Medicare Part B premiums are only increasing by about $10 per month in 2025, which is much less than some years when it jumped by $20 or $30. That means more of your COA increase stays in your pocket instead of going to Medicare. And speaking of Medicare, we're in the middle of open enrollment right now, and it ends December 7th. That's coming up fast. Here's something that shocks people. 90% of seniors are in the wrong Medicare plan for their needs. Not because they made a bad choice originally, but because plans change every year, and most people just auto-renew without checking. Your medications might not be covered the same way next year. Your doctors might not be in network. Your costs could go up significantly. And with all the changes coming to Medicare, including new pre-authorization requirements being piloted in 6 states, this is not the year to just renew automatically. Take 30 minutes to review your coverage. Look at what you actually spent this year on healthcare. Consider what procedures or medications you might need next year. And if you're not sure whether you have the right plan, talk to an expert who can compare all your options. This is especially important if you're switching between Original Medicare and Medicare Advantage, or if you're looking at Medigap plans. The landscape is complicated, and choosing wrong can cost you thousands of dollars. Look, I know it's been a tough few years. Inflation has hit seniors especially hard because you're living on fixed incomes. While everything, groceries, utilities, medications, keeps getting more expensive. A $2,000 stimulus payment would provide real relief to millions of people who desperately need it. Whether it happens or not, I want you to know that you're not alone in struggling with rising costs. It's not your fault, and you're doing the best you can. But here's what I want you to take away from this video. Stay informed. Stay proactive. Make sure your benefits are optimized. Don't leave money on the table because you didn't know about a program or didn't understand how the system works. Your November 12th payment is coming if that's your payment date. Your COLA increase hits in January, and we're all watching closely to see if this stimulus payment becomes reality before the end of the year. I promise I'll keep you updated every step of the way as soon as there's movement in Congress, as soon as legislation is introduced, as soon as we have a timeline for payments. I'll break it down for you right here. If this information was helpful, please hit that like button so more seniors can find this video. The YouTube algorithm shows these videos to more people when they get engagement, and I want every senior in America to have accurate information about their benefits. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We post updates on Social Security, Medicare, stimulus payments, and money-saving tips multiple times per week. Drop a comment below and let me know. Do you think this $2,000 stimulus is really going to happen? How would it help you? I read every comment and I love hearing from you. And check out my next video about other benefits you might be missing. A lot of seniors qualify for SNAP food assistance, energy assistance, property tax relief, and state programs worth hundreds of dollars per month that they don't even know exist. Remember, you've earned these benefits. You've paid into the system your whole life. Don't be ashamed to claim everything you're entitled to. Take care of yourself. Stay warm as we head into winter.